Welcome. It's a great pleasure for me to be here. I presented at this conference 6 or 7 years ago, and I'm happy to report we came with the company Pan-African Mining Corp, which we had founded in Madagascar. It was the largest holder of mining claims in Madagascar. You could have bought the stock then at 25 cents, and several years later, in the middle of 2008, Pan-African Mining Corp was bought out by Asia Thai Mining for $4.50 a share. So we have a strong management team with a track record of success. We've already demonstrated the ability to take exploration assets successfully, develop them, package them, and sell them. In that case, we sold the company for $165 million. We're here today with African Queen Mines, which is actually a spin-off from the Pan-African Mining Corp merger. At that time, the assets in Madagascar were bought by Asia Thai Mining. The rest of the African continental assets were spun out to shareholders as a new company, which started trading at the end of 2008, and that is African Queen Mines. Our focus is on 3 major projects in Ghana, Kenya, and Mozambique, all of which are relatively stable, miner-friendly environments in Africa, and relative political stability. We've talked about our track record. I think it's important, particularly in this very difficult financial environment, that you guys are investing in companies that have the ability to raise capital. Well, a month ago, we just closed a $2.4 million financing. That deal took 10 days to become fully committed. It was oversubscribed by 20%. So even in this environment, we were able to attract 3 or 4 top institutions, as well as 30 or 40 quality individual investors who wanted to back African Queen Mines. Our technical team includes 7 or 8 geologists, all of whom have had experience with the majors. Virtually all of these people previously worked for Pan-African Mining Corp. They've done it before. As I said, we're diversified in 3 different countries. We're debt-free, of course. We have 70 million shares, which translates right now to a market cap of $10 million, which is very depressed. We all know what's going on in the market. It has created some tremendous opportunities, and I think that African Queen represents one of the most undervalued situations with the greatest potential. We had traded up to 70 to 74 cents 4 or 5 different occasions over the last 2 years. You can buy stock right now 14, 16 cents. Our financing 6 weeks ago was done at 22 cents, oversubscribed. Stock's 30% lower. The company's never been doing better. We got $2 million cash in the bank, and you can buy it for a fraction of what it would have cost you a year ago. Our management team, high quality people with extensive experience, particularly extensive experience in the African environment that we're working in. Essentially, in Ghana, we have the Noyam Neapamin gold project. In Kenya, we have the Orongo Goldfield project, as well as Karamari and Ugunja. And in Mozambique, the King Solomon project. What's interesting is that these projects are in some of the top gold camps in the world, and in all cases, very well positioned from an infrastructure standpoint, as well as potential exit strategy, which I'll talk about. Here we are in Ghana. We actually acquired this property from Newmont. In fact, Newmont has retained a 2% NSR, and they also have retained an option to produce this project if we elect to go outside. The terms are to be negotiated in good faith, so we're not locked into any kind of adverse deal. It's a very positive relationship we have with Newmont. Essentially, we are on the Ashanti Belt. We're in the northeast corner. We are only 12 miles from Newmont's HM deposit, which is going into production this year, 8 million ounces. We're also only about 48 miles from the Obuasi mine, Anglo-Ashanti's world-class 41 million ouncer. Importantly, this property already has a historic resource from Newmont of 1.1 million ounces, and the grade is almost 7 grams per ton, 6.6 grams per ton. That today is very significant because you've heard it before. It's all about grade. The low-grade deposits are having a hard time getting financing. This is a high-quality deposit with good grade, and with Newmont only 12 miles down the road with a big producing mine, what it suggests is a good potential for a potential offtake agreement with Newmont. If we can bring this resource up to 43101 compliant, in fact, we're looking forward to growing the resource substantially. This should allow for a processing of all of this ore right at Newmont's facility, literally down a tarred road, instead of us having to spend hundreds of millions of dollars on CapEx in order for this mine to go into production. So I think the fact that Newmont is already a partner in this project, already has an interest, has an 8 million ounce mine 12 miles away that's going into production, and a very extensive processing facility already there. I think that greatly increases the likelihood that we're going to have a successful, viable commercial project. And I think it means that instead of the usual 10 or 12 years wait to get into production, we can potentially short-circuit that by many, many years. The gold ore at Noyam-Neapaman is in Tarquinian-hosted paleoplacer sands. This project has had a history of disputes with the local people. We have resolved 19 of those 26 disputes and brought all of that ground under our umbrella. We're continuing to talk with the other 6 or 7 adverse land claimants. At this point, the project is moving ahead in a very positive way. We feel we were able to accomplish in 18 months what Newmont couldn't do in 15 years on the property. As we speak, we are drilling right now. We're doing a core drilling program, 2,000 to 3,000 meters. I can say that the holes have already been intersecting the gold reef as anticipated, and in the holes that we've completed, we are waiting for assays to come back. But we're going to be drilling this for in the coming months, looking for results, and I think you can look forward to a lot of news from the Noyam-Neapaman project. Here is the Ashanti Belt. You can see Noyam-Neapaman at the upper east corner. Newmont is clearly indicated there at HM, and there's the Obuasi mine to the west. Here's our core drilling underway. Kenya is where we are drilling at this time on the Rongo Goldfields project, the Odundu target there. What's interesting is that if you look at Kenya, if you look at the picture there, you can see Lake Victoria at the very west. Well, the Lake Victoria Greenstone Belt in Tanzania, which is just across the border, is the site of some of the world's more important gold mines, specifically the Bulyanhulu African Barrick their big flagship mine. And we basically postulated that the Lake Victoria Greenstone Belt doesn't stop at the political boundary between Tanzania and Kenya, but instead continues on along the shores of Lake Victoria and then up toward Uganda. We established a land position through several important joint ventures where we have the right to earn up to 85%. We also have claims in the name of our own company. And we are now drilling. We started drilling at Odundu a couple weeks ago and hoping to establish a world-class gold deposit there. The structure is typically quartz vein stockwork, and essentially, interestingly enough, we had disputes in this property as well. There was a lawsuit between a former license holder and our joint venture partner, which we totally resolved, moved that forward in a positive way. So what we're finding is where there is perceived value in these projects, and you see this all over the world now, people are coming out of the woodwork with adverse claims, asking for money, trying to hold you up, and we have to just deal with all of this in a methodical way, lawyer-like, business-like, and that's what we've been doing successfully. We typically do a large amount of preliminary work before we do drilling. In this case, we had done a ground magnetic survey over 5 square kilometers. We did airborne geophysics. We did several different rounds of preliminary sampling, induced polarization. We did a thing called termite mound sampling, which is very useful in certain areas. The area in Kenya has remained essentially underexplored because it's all covered with farmland. These are hidden deposits, and what the termites do is they go down deep, they bring up soil in their termite mounds, and by sampling that we can actually find traces of gold in the termite mound, which help to guide us. In any case, we found a relatively large and discrete area of high chargeability with our ground magnetic system study. There's a rich sulfide mineralization associated with the gold. Our grab samples were as high as 69 grams per ton, in many cases 10 grams. The termite samples were as high as half a gram, which is exceedingly high for that kind of sample. We did a bunch of trenches, and now we're doing the drilling, and we just started the program, but we're looking forward to several thousand meters of drilling with hopefully some outstanding results coming back. There is a convergence of the geophysics data with all of the sampling data we did. That gave our geological team a high level of confidence that we're going to have a successful drill program. You can see the yellow dots correspond with this southeast to northwest trending anomaly and the structural faults on the property. There are artisanal workings on the project. Here you can see people working in one of the pits. Again, some of the local team that we put together. One of our other projects is called Karamari. Once again, it has extensive artisanal workings. It's prospective for copper, gold, iron ore, and nickel. We are starting a serious program this year on Karamari. We were on the project last year. We're very impressed and essentially filed for a license which was granted to us. It's 100% owned. Ugunja is a joint venture. We completed our preliminary work last year, identified some targets. We're going back in next month on Ogunja to do follow-up sampling to identify drill targets for a program there. Essentially, it's massive sulfides, gold-bearing quartz veins, and banded iron formations. In Mozambique, we have the King Solomon project. We've done several rounds of drilling there. We have this property in a joint venture with a company called Opti Metal Trading, a Swiss company. Essentially, we've completed about 5,000 meters now of drilling. We've had good results. For instance, 7 meters of 1.5% copper together with 1.3 grams of gold, 4 meters of 1.6% copper combined with 1.13 grams of gold. We have a lot of interesting intersections, a lot of smoke, but we haven't found the fire. We have not yet been able to identify the structure here at King Solomon that's going to turn this into a commercial mine. So we're continuing to work. We're going to do another phase of groundwork to identify some drill targets to the west that look promising. This would be essentially our third priority project at this time, because right now it doesn't have a million ounce historic resource like the Ghana project. We don't see the obvious structure for the deposit at this time, but we're still hopeful this is going to turn into something special. Here are some of our targets. Here we are drilling. This was the anomaly at Mankambidi, where the good results have been achieved on the drill program. We've got 70 million shares outstanding. Most recently raised 2.4 million at 22 cents with a half warrant. We think this is an outstanding opportunity to participate in what we think is going to be very good long-term growth, as well as short-term upswing in our share price. The market has caused a lot of dislocations across the board. Most junior stocks are very depressed. This one, because of the drilling underway, the cash in the bank, our record of success at making these companies work, we think that it's a particular time of opportunity to buy very undervalued assets, and we're very excited about the future for our projects and for African Queen.